you never know what hand you're going to be dealt in life. Nick has MS. He came out. He did the scavenger hunt as best he could. He fucking played softball with us. He kept the energy absolutely flowing throughout the entire time. And we love having you here, man.
Congrats to Nick. Nick, dude, you're fucking awesome.
You're listening to Behind the Lines, a podcast presented by inplayLIVE and powered by Pinnacle, the #1 sportsbook where winners play and never get limited. Go to pinnacle.com/inplayLIVE to sign up and get in the game.
Welcome in. It's Behind the Lines. Powered by Pinnacle, purifying the sports betting industry. I'm Shane, East Pace. On today's show, Retreat Recap. We're getting more WNBA, the FanDuel void, separating fact from fiction, and gridiron grind Canadian style. Stay tuned for that at the end of the show. You do not want to miss those picks. All right, Pacer, we are coming off a massive week, the 5th annual inplayLIVE retreat in Vancouver. Dude, it was awesome. Kudos to you, Raj, the entire IPL team for making it a memorable week, to say the least. I've got a ton of highlights I want to share. But Pace, why don't we start with you? I mean, you're the guy who created this. Talk to me about how you feel after pulling off your 5th annual retreat.
My voice is almost back. I feel good. I'm still pretty tired. It's a long few days in a great way, but definitely needs a little bit of recovery, I would say. I'm pretty much speechless, man. I mean, it blew my expectations out of the water. And it wasn't the event that did it. It was the people.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I mean, it always really is the people. If you have one or two highlights that are maybe going to stick with you, what are they?
I think watching Raj hit the 2-run home run to win the softball tournament was a really cool moment in the history of all of our softball tournaments, but cool to watch how happy he was. That was awesome. Not even like the act of the athleticism and that happening. It was the way your team reacted and how happy you guys all were. That was an incredible moment. Winning the cornhole tournament for me is just always like, I thought I played really well, locked in, and I always am proud of myself when I leave everything out on the field, even though it's a cornhole table. But I left everything out on the table there. And I think, Shane, I took it pretty seriously. And the biggest one by far for me was meeting Nick and seeing his overall positivity and approach for someone that hasn't had it the easiest over the last few years. And it just is such a great perspective to carry with all of us, right? Like, dude, if it's that whole thing, like, if he can do it, why can't I? Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. That was, incredible to sort of hear that Nick's story. So for everybody out there who's sort of been following along with us through the Pinnacle contest, we were planning to give away $1,000 USD each quarter of this year. You had to make a $10 wager at Pinnacle Sportsbook, submit the wager to Raj to be entered into the contest for the quarter, and you would have $1,000 USD entered into your Pinnacle account if you were selected. And so Nick won in the first quarter, but he didn't hear that he had won on the podcast. He hadn't listened. And so it was like, okay, well, we gave him a couple of weeks and he still didn't claim the prize. And then we decided, all right, we're moving on and we're going to do $2,000 USD at the end of the second quarter and roll the prize over. And Pace, you made an executive decision at the event. Tell everybody out there what you decided.
Okay, well, MS is multiple sclerosis. It's a condition that attacks the immune system, the brain, the spinal cord. It can lead to poor balance and obviously just difficulty walking, weakness, tiredness. And our event is pretty active. Really good moment with Nick was where we said, hey, we need to balance out the teams for the scavenger hunt. The scavenger hunt is like this pretty serious walk around the city.
It was a lot of walking.
And he puts his hand up first and volunteers to join a different team. And he was unable to complete it, but he tried, and like that's the whole thing. So when we told him that he was the one that didn't claim the Pinnacle prize, I saw the look on his face, and he looked a little gutted, but he said he didn't even know that he had entered. And I have no idea if his condition is a factor in that, because MS does attack the brain. So it might I don't know, like it might impact memory a little bit or things like that. But anyways, it's 10 units for him. So he started betting with inplayLIVE. He told me his journey. He started betting $5. He's betting $100 units today. He said he'll never miss an event or a retreat again. And, I'm just sitting there watching this guy, his humility, his positivity, his approach to everything. Like, so he sent me a message. This is before the event. I'll just fire it off here quickly if I can find it. He said, "Hey Pace, quick heads up. So glad I booked Opus, because side story, he had a hotel booked in East Hastings." And I was like, dude, you do not want to stay there. If anyone knows Vancouver, East Hastings, there's been some documentaries done on it over the years by like National Geographic and stuff. Anyways, he's like, he was checking to see if hotels prices had dropped, and Opus was completely sold out. So he was thrilled to have gotten a room there. And he's like, anyways, I want to let you know I'm not going to play softball. My legs fatigue quickly due to MS. So sports or walking long distances really are not a good fit for me anymore, but I'm down for everything else. Well, I responded, and you know me, Shane. I'm not like, hey, dude, no worries.
Oh, no.
I'm like, hey, Nick, all caps. You really should play. I won't say you have to, but we'll get you a design runner, and we'll basically make it work for you. And this whole thing is really about you just coming out and having fun on the field. And he responds right away, I'm game then, with exclamation marks. And, he's like, I'll be useless in the field. I can't run and I can't catch. Right. But, we put him at catcher for the day, and not even like a lick of any type of complaint from him. He just freaking put the smile on his face and made the most of it all day. And that's why we ultimately locked him in for MVP this year.
MVP, buddy. MVP, baby. Now, I have to apologize. The hat got stolen and used for the day, so it really has some leather on it. And lice? No. Well, I mean, you're going to have to ask Brian, but if there was any head of hair to have lice. There's lice. So I'm going to try to get through this as best as I can, guys. You never know what hand you're going to be dealt in life. Nick has MS. He came out. He did the scavenger hunt as best he could. He fucking played softball with us. He kept the energy absolutely flowing throughout the entire time. And we love having you here, man. It's fucking unbelievable. You're an amazing guy. We're so thankful to have you here. Nick is the guy that didn't know that he won the $1,000 Pinnacle prize. And I am making the executive decision that Shane, it is not $2,000. Nick's getting his prize.
You locked him in for MVP and the Pinnacle contest. We gave him his winnings.
He was so happy. And he, for anyone thinking that's BS and they want to go for the $2,000 this week, I apologize, because I did say we were rolling it over, but no, Nick's getting his rack.
So Nick gets his rack, but we're still giving away a rack next week.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there we go. So look, guys, you're still going to have the chance to win 1,000 USD, and last
chance. This is it.
Yeah. Next week we're giving it away. So get your wager in. I mean, we're recording on the last day of June. By the time this comes out, it's July 2nd. You really got to get it in this week before we record next week, because that's going to be it. But congrats to Nick. Nick, dude, you're fucking awesome. Way to show up. You stepped up to the plate. You did everything you possibly could to participate. I saw you out there on the softball field during the scavenger hunt, all of it, man. And saw you walking back to the hotel. I think it was after softball. And that was really cool. I got a chance to chat with you individually. And just congrats, dude. I'm really glad that we were able to get you the 1,000 USD that you won. and just really proud of how you showed up. I mean, that's an example for everyone out there.
Right. And I will say, Lace and I had a chat yesterday about Nick, because I found out through the grapevine. Nick didn't tell me this, that he messaged one of his friends in inplayLIVE that never came to the event and said he will never, ever miss it again. And it was the best time he could have imagined, and said to his friend, whatever you do, make sure you're there next year. Now, next year, Nick will be the coach of a softball team. 100%. What? Yeah. Number two, he's going to be a station at the scavenger hunt. So we're going to get him positioned somewhere like a Clark's Corner, and make sure that Nick is involved from that capacity. So everyone will come through. Everyone will get to chill with him in some capacity, where he'll give instructions on what to do. Maybe it can be something where like they got to carry him over his head and throw him in the ocean and then save him or something. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. I look forward to seeing Nick again next year. And I agree. I mean, you don't want to miss this event. If you can make it, you got to go. It's just so much fun, and the ability to, the opportunity to connect with so many other people in the community. It's absolutely priceless. Okay. I just want to run through a few of my own.
Please do, Shane. No, you said, but first I'm going to go to you. And I wanted to say, Shane, I don't care about what I think about the event. Like, I want to hear from you.
Well, no, but Pace, I think you shared your ultimate highlight, and your highlight was Nick, obviously. I think that's your biggest one.
Honestly, I used Nick as an example of a relationship I built. The biggest one by far was the people. It isn't isolated to Nick. Nick's story was a great one, but it was the people by far.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said people, and he's absolutely up there, and a great example. Okay, I got a ton of highlights though. And first off, trivia, which was new to the IPL retreat this year. Shout out Gosu. Gosu is coming on the show, guys. Stay tuned. We will get to the gridiron grind coming up. He's going to be here on the show. But Gosu did trivia on night one, and that was fucking awesome. That was a ton of fun. A mixture of sports knowledge and IPL, sort of inside knowledge, inside jokes, and stuff all mixed together. That was just a ton of fun. And of course, social. Everybody grabbing a drink together. Social. That was a ton of fun.
In IPL hockey songs, I need the name of the song we play when we win a bet on the Calgary Flames or the Edmonton Oilers. The name of the song and the artist that we play when we win a bet on the Winnipeg Jets. What is the bottom of that saying? K-Long. K-Long. Most players drafted number 1 overall in the NHL draft. 3 Canada's over here. Canada.
That's a social.
The scavenger hunt, a big change also from previous years. Dude, that was awesome. That was a great way to just see the city, get around the city. My team struggled with Ubers at one point. So once we sort of got past that, we said, well, fuck the Uber. It's like rush hour in Vancouver. That was terrible. Let's hop in the water taxi. And we took we got a water taxi to sort of get us to and from a couple of the locations. I saw like a seal or a sea lion or something like that in the ocean. That was really cool. A ton of fun doing the scavenger hunt. Great change up for this past IPL event.
Here I am, rock you like a hurricane. Hey. Here I am.
This one's got a little bit of a riff at the end.
Hurricane. Here I am, rock you like a hurricane.
Softball though was fucking awesome. It was incredible. And I'm not just saying that because my team won the championship. Yes, softball champion right there. This is going up on the shelf over there. Absolutely thrilled to be a softball champion. But Pace, it's not that we won. It is how we did it. And, we faced adversity, constantly had to make adjustments, regroup, rebound. So game 1, we came out and we went down early. We made an adjustment after the first inning in terms of defense and moving a few people around, a couple personnel changes. Came back and won that first game. Second game, I think we played you guys our second game. Won that game. So now we're flying high. We think we're great. You know, we've knocked off 2 wins. We're doing amazing here, 2-0, while the other 2 teams all tied each other. We think we're way out ahead, and we get this big long break and eat awesome tacos from Taco Fina. Delicious food, but it was a long break. And by the time we're getting back in it, we're all like cold, stiff, you know, just really kind of, you know, starting to kind of, you know, really lose a lot of momentum. And you could feel it, like when our team got back together on the field, that all the energy we had was dissipated. And it was like we were starting from scratch again. And we go out there and we lose that game to Trampus's team, blue team. And, you know, you could really sort of feel like, man, we like that. The momentum we started the day with was absolutely gone. That game confirmed it. And we needed to rebound. We needed to come back. We go to play your team in the semifinals, and we went down 7-1 against your team. And it was like, we were done. We were feeling like, man, like that loss of momentum, it just carried through. And it was like, dude, we started so hot. How are we going to go out like this? And this guy, Hussein, who I don't even know if he's part of the IPL community. He was brought on by Zane, who is in the community. He brought a few of his friends with them, and they sort of joined teams a little bit late, you know, just sort of as we were starting our first game. And, you know, we don't know who this guy is or how he's going to play. This guy comes up and hits a 2-run homer to give us that little bit of life that we needed.
2 outs, no one on, down 7-1.
Yeah, 2 outs, no one on, down 7-1. This guy comes out, hits a homer, brings us back from the grave. And we all just felt this rush. And I honestly, Pace, that was the moment of the tournament for our team. Like, that was the moment we believed again. And that started the comeback. We came back, we beat your squad, moved on to the championship game, and then
Shane, 2 outs, bases loaded. We get the out. We're going to extra innings, and Corey banged one over my head by about 2 feet, and you saw it.
You jumped for it. You did what you could.
Yeah.
We put it just enough over your head that there was no way you were going to get that. Yeah. And you know, he bangs it in, and boom, we're moving on. And, you know, we get to that championship game, and even in that game, we fell behind, we went down, and we battled back. And you obviously talked about Raj making that home run. I was on deck, so I would have been up after Raj if Raj had singled or anything else. But I told Raj as he was heading up there, I'm like, Raj, end this game. You know, I was ready for it if the moment came to me, but I wanted to see Raj end that game. And then somebody else said, Shane, don't put so much pressure on Raj. I turned to them and I'm like, Raj is built for pressure. He fucking delivered. That was just an incredible moment. Honestly, just awesome. And then, of course, cheering with everybody at the end and the champagne popping and all of that. Just an awesome, awesome moment.
That's it. The game's gonna end.
You know, that I'm just so incredibly grateful to have been a part of. Just a ton of fun there. And then I'll mention one other moment. So then, of course, we all go out to the bar. We go out to Mansion afterwards, the club, you know, limo ride out there, all of that. You know, we're softball champions. That's Raj hands out our championship trophies at the club. So that was really cool to sort of celebrate, not just with the entire IPL team, obviously, and everybody's together, but, you know, to have our little group of teammates together who we did the scavenger hunt with, we did the trivia challenge with, you know, to be there at the end to sort of just celebrate that softball championship and get those trophies was really cool. And then, of course, Piz, they play The Sound of Silence by Disturbed, not Simon Garfunkel, you know, the version that we play when that bet hits. And dude, when that came on, man, the vibes of that place was just electric.
I have chills. You tell me saying it.
I mean, you get a song like that just carries so much meaning for the entire group of guys that are there. You can't beat a moment like that. Like that's
No.
just all time.
No, yeah, that was incredible. That whole thing was incredible. Honestly, though, if you know you're sitting here and you're listening and you're thinking, geez, these guys won't shut up about this event that I didn't attend. There's, just like 48 people that attended this event. Everyone would have a story like Shane's, where they're that enthused and happy about what went down. And separately of that, Shane, you could talk about this, but you missed the seminars. You were a little too hungover, I think.
I was hurting that day. I had
the
to make
feedback
a
from the seminars. We put a lot of work into them, and it was what went up on those screens and what people got out of those seminars was unbelievable. So much so, we're going to be pumping that quite a bit more next year. So I think the first day before the dinner, we're going to do a couple seminars, and then the next morning we'll do a couple more. So we want to put more and more educational information out there for people, so that if you do spend the money to go to Vancouver, by the way, we take care of everything, Shane, as you saw.
Oh, dude,
you don't have to worry about
like,
a damn thing when you're there.
I don't think I paid for food or drinks the entire time I was there.
I just got an over limit notice on my credit card this morning on a $12,000 limit that was fully paid off, and I just put my hands in my head like, holy fuck, I got a CFL can't come any sooner this week. So we give your membership back to you very much so. In those few days, if you're a pro member, you get your membership is given back to you. I'm strictly monetary, but the education that you're going to get going forward, if you came from this one, the networking, all that stuff, but the education going forward, that alone is just going to be like a total moonshot for people in their approach to how they bet the next year, and some of the tips, tricks, and strategies that we put forward. And then also, of course, what you learn from other people. So that's going to be a real focus. And I think people really enjoyed that aspect of it as well. If you're listening to this and you're not in the inplayLIVE community, we do have an option for you to attend these events in the future. It's $500 Canadian to attend, and the $500 goes towards a membership, provided that you use it before September 1st. We're going to keep that going this year. And if you are a member of the community, you're missing out if you're not attending. You just have to make it work. It's just such an impactful and amazing time. Also, Shane, we said goodbye to my balcony. That was it.
Right.
I'll probably send a video when I do a walkthrough of my place on July 11th to the inplayLIVE group to let them know what the new room's going to look like. But that was it.
Yeah. There's one other thing. We have a lot to get to pace on the show today. And you're right. I don't want to drone on and on about the retreat, but it was such a great time. And
you know what? If people don't like hearing about the retreat, I don't care, because it is a very, very special time to attend.
It really is.
Go ahead. Let it rip.
But there's one more thing I got to bring up because this just adds to it. It makes it so much fun. And who doesn't like winning some money along the way, right? I mean, that's what we're about.
I swept. Go look at my SX.
Oh no, you're going to see my SX. So I'm going to show you my SX right now. But first, shout out to.
All right, Kay, hit me. What's going on?
Well, right now we are live betting. Well, soon to be live betting on right now.
Okay. And who's favored right now? Where's the money coming in?
Well, let's
if anything.
take a look at what we got going on. I'm gonna pull it up.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of action on Team Ta versus the field. I'm seeing the field at 1.67 right now.
And what does TAW pay? Like 1.00001?
133.
Okay.
K is awesome. Kay, I think, is the marketing director, communications director at SX. She's got a big fancy title. She is an incredible person, individual. Love chatting with her, hanging out with her. Really just enjoy. She came and played softball with us. You know, like, she's a gamer. She was there the whole time. And, she's also helping everybody sort of navigate SX and figure things out and dropping us bet credits the whole time. If you won something, you got bet credits. That was just awesome. Kay, if you're listening, it was awesome seeing you again. And I look forward to seeing you at future IPL events and maybe even Bet Bash. I think you were saying that you might be at Bet Bash. So that was awesome. But I've got to do a little screen share here, Pace, because I got to do a little bit of bragging. It sounds like you got some bragging to do as well. So I'll just quickly share my screen. I don't even have to share my SX tracker because I do have an SX tracker, but SX keeps a great tracker for you. It's all right there. And you can see here the IPL events.
Cool.
I placed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wagers on IPL events. You can see first I took Schroeder and Hawkeye versus the field. I took the field, got that at 2.0. But shout out Hawkeye Tim. Happy birthday, Hawkeye Tim, as the day we're recording here, who also held one of those seminars, who's got incredible spreadsheets. If anybody wants to work on their spreadsheets, the guy's awesome. But I did bet on Schroeder and Hawkeye in their first round. I took them to win. I got $87.30 on that. Winner. Took over 37.5 points pace in your championship cornhole game that you and Eggs won. You guys cashed the over with help from Raj and Gosu. So thank you guys for that. And of course, I bet on Team Raj for the softball championship. So that was awesome. Just a little $50 wager there at 2.44. But 5 for 5 on my IPL SX bets this retreat. So just wanted to share that with everybody. And if you aren't on SX, go check it out. It's a really cool platform. Pace, it's incredible to see how far they've come. Like, when you think back to when we first had them on the show, almost like a year and a half ago, and then Kay attending last year's IPL event, and where they are now, like, dude, they are just growing. The liquidity is building. They're able to do, multi-leg parlays now that get those contracts get snapped up in an instant. You can see I had these parlay legs that you're seeing there on my screen. Those are a bunch of UFC parlays that I had done for the card this past weekend. I was able to get those in. It's really, really cool what they're doing over there, and it's just awesome to see how they're growing. So, just wanted to share that with everybody as well. You said you swept your SX bets as well?
I didn't. Here I am.
Oh,
so
okay.
I guess I posted a line on Team TAW. This looks to me like it was a mistake, but a couple of people nabbed it up. So I lost. And the thing is basically how I operate with SX is probably different than how you do, Shane, at the event, is I just throw up a bunch of money on myself for everything I compete in.
Okay.
And then I bet on Raj, put up a bunch of money on Team Raj for the championship. So you can see here someone, and this is the thing, these aren't my bets necessarily. I put up a bunch of money and then it's whether someone else takes them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I did a few of those too, where I made the market.
Apparently I put up some money on the field for Schroeder. I put $700 up on Team Raj, which got nabbed up.
Let's go.
I took the field for Team TAW I put that up. Someone took it. And then this is where it just doesn't, like, the math doesn't make sense. This to me looks like an error that I posted. And it did. Someone nabbed it up and it cost me, because why would I put a lineup on the field and on this when it's not even an ARB, it's a loss. So yeah, that didn't make sense. I put myself up at the start of the tournament, it looks like, for softball. Someone took $29 on it, 29-32, such an obscure number.
Okay.
That one lost. And then this is my cornhole. I put up a bunch of money on us, Eggs and I, against the field in cornhole. I put some money against Gosu and Raj on the field. That some of that got nabbed up. And
Right.
same with Trampus. That's just a little bit more of a softball bet. But yeah, all in all, I did really well. And you can see one of the podcast calls as well from John last week here, which is that Riders minus. You can see I put some money down on that. And all in all, a good little week on SX for me there, which was awesome. But it's really cool, like just the logo there and like seeing the event and then the lines start getting posted. There was less action on SX this retreat than last retreat, but I think that if people are more prepared and ready for it next year, we can pretty much bet on anything. Like a lot of people, it's almost like their blood starts flowing with it as we get towards the end of the event.
Yeah.
And then it's like it's kind of too late. The other thing that SX did, which is really nice, so we talk about the event and the financial elements of it. Well, they gave everyone $100 USD for showing up.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need an account verified to have it. You just got it. And then every winner of each event got an additional $250 in bet credits. So Shane, on top of that, you got $350 USD in bet credits to use at FX. Now, you can't put up lines with that money, but you can take other people's lines with that money. So I actually want to see. I still have 100 bet credits left here because so I'll have to toggle that on and use that for some CFL this week. That $100 to make sure that I get through it. But yeah, what's also really nice is now I got 8,200 USD in here. And I just talked about my credit card bill. Well, I can go just refund my credit card bill from my SX profits in the last week, which is really nice. Which I think I might actually do. But honestly, I'm mostly just using this for if there is discrepancies in the pregame CFL that's upcoming for the week. Now, again, when we talk about CFL, oftentimes for when we're recording, the lines aren't up yet. And you can see on SX, they're not up yet. And I saw at one point this week, 2 books that don't limit you. Pinnacle ended up at -2 for the Riders, and SX was still at +3.5 for the Riders. So,
wow.
That's something that, you can look at as a sharp better if you're doing any of that middle and arbitrage stuff. 2 completely no risk wagers that you could have pinned against each other in that game. The middle would not have hit as the Riders ran away with that game, but still something to keep an eye out for. Now, the other thing too, and I didn't intend to show any of this today, but I'm actually curious, is there's some tournaments going on right now. It looks like this one I haven't joined.
But you're in the Barra one. You're in the Barra one.
Let's check the Barra. Let's check.
I got to get in this. I got to get in this Barra one because you don't have to win that much to be in the cash.
Oh, I don't know. Like, I don't see my name. I don't see my name in the profits here.
Oh, okay. Huh. Kay was saying something about needing like Barra gas. Like you need a little bit of Barra first.
Okay, yeah. So here I am. All of my bets haven't.
Yeah, none of your bets counted. Yeah.
But Shane, the reason why I brought it up is last playoffs, NBA and NHL, I was using SX and I won all the tournaments. So not only did I profit using their lines, I was up in these ranges. So one tournament I shouldn't say I won. I won money. One tournament I got the 4,200. The other one I got the 1,700, which is like, that's amazing. Like that's a lot of money. And you can see here, like net return total bets. This is what it would take to be in that range. So if you were at the bottom of the 1,700, $7,000, like I'd already be in that.
You'd already be in that, getting $1,690 on top of everything you won. One of our members, actually, We the North, Travis, is in here. He's in the money.
Okay, well, let's take a look.
When he showed me, he was in the 400 range. So I don't know, like, well, there he is. That's him. You just went past him.
T-Sips. There he is.
Boom.
Oh, what
We the North. Look at that.
No, dude. So, like, actually think about this mathematically speaking. $451. If it stands,
yeah,
He's 2x, like it's basically 2x his profits. That's insane.
This is what I mean. I was like, crap, I need to get this set up. I was talking to Kay. I'm like, hey, how do I get in this? She's like, oh, you got to get this Barra stuff. And she said she would send it to me. So, Kay, I'm going to be reaching out to you about getting that, because this tournament goes
Send me my Barra chain.
Yeah, this tournament goes till July 14th. So, Pace, we still got like 2 weeks. We could go in there, hammer CFL stuff, like gridiron grind, the stuff that Gosu's going to give us, and end up in here, making some extra cash.
So the thing is I actually joined at the beginning. So I would assume if mine got turned on, my bets may then count. I don't know, but I would be in the 1700, which is great. That's free money.
You've got to make the bets on the Barra exchange.
Oh, okay. So this is the one thing I will say. This is the Barra chain rewards here. This is the one thing I'll say about using this site is you head over and you switch over to this system. When you're in a new system, the liquidity isn't the same. So they might not have live bets on this system, or very less liquidity, but they might also have more. So I think it's always worth it to check it out, because I remember when we first started, some people got set up and they were betting using Ethereum, and they're like, this was you, Shane. You're like, There's no live bets at all. I'm like, oh, you got to use USDC. So you
I made that mistake.
And you're like, there they all are. Yeah. So like the liquidity is almost like you need to know where to play. And when you click up here, there's all these here. It's cross-chain betting. So if you go over to Barra chain, I'll just switch over to Barra chain and I'll just go to the live bets to see what kind of liquidity is going on over there. So you can see, like, when you see all these bids, like bid, there typically isn't a lot, and that's tennis live. Yeah. Whereas if we go to, let's just go to back to the USDC, on the SX rollup. This probably makes no sense to people if you haven't used this site before. It's actually similar. There's a lot of bids everywhere instead of actual lines. So that's something I know they're working on that, and I think that is a breakthrough that we're all really hoping for. But all they have live right now is tennis. So yeah, I mean, let's just take a look at one of these.
It's funny, Pace. I was hoping that they were going to have CFL live the one day, and I think it was the Thursday, and I went in there, and unfortunately they didn't have it, but they had a bunch of tennis, and they had something else that was kind of obscure. I was like, why do they have this? Anyway, yeah,
it's just real. I mean, they've got a big community of, like, no offense, I mean, there's a compliment mostly, as like nerdy types that might be betting on some weird stuff that they, if someone's posting lines for it, then and they have a handle for it. It's like the inplayLIVE event. You could look at that and be like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, that's true.
With this group of people.
Who's betting on that?
Yeah. Anyways, awesome having them there. And I mean, a project that we were very invested in from a podcast standpoint, where we were excited, about the future of what they were doing. And we've actually, I'll be just 100% transparent, we've pulled back with them tremendously. And that's because when they made the switch to SX rollup, the live lines that were being produced previously were not there anymore. And I was like, I basically pulled all my funds because it didn't make sense for me to use anymore. And it's since improved, but it's not back to where it was. So I'm back. Clearly, you can see I'm back. We're super interested in it. We want them to succeed. But anyway, Shane, let's fly through this.
Let's
this
get
next
through
stuff and
for sure.
Keep people not on for.
we definitely spent a lot more time on the retreat that even I had anticipated here. But we do have some other big news and stories we want to get to. So let's jump into the WNBA. Big news coming out today. And Pace, I'm glad you put this on my radar before we started recording here, because I hadn't seen it yet. The WNBA is expanding to 18 teams over the next 5 years. They're going to add Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia, all set to join the league by 2030. Right now, there's currently 13 teams in the league. Next year, so 2026, my city, Toronto, joins the league along with Portland. So then after that, it will be Cleveland joining in 2028, Detroit in 2029, and Philadelphia in 2030. It will be up to 18 teams by the end of this decade. You gotta love it. It's so awesome to see the women's game growing the way it is. I'm just super excited about it. Pace, I imagine you're looking at it in terms of just more opportunity.
The WNBA has a really interesting following, I would say, right now. And I got to give a shout out to the guys at Stadium Live. I don't know if you've seen their content, Shane.
I have seen some of it. Yeah, it's awesome.
Now, they have done such a fucking spectacular job of making the WNBA fun while bridging the gap of also kind of making fun of Angel Reese.
Big time. The she-bounds. I mean, why not?
They ended up getting exposed to a lawsuit by Angel Reese and her team. Did you hear about this?
Was this the trademarking?
So no, that's what Angel Reese is doing, the me bounds or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Trademarking that stuff. So these guys, they started betting on Angel Reese to miss her first shot of the game and said they're going to commit to it for the entire season. And they talk about it before the game starts. They give you rationale. It's all bullshit. Like it's like an acting scene. They'll like put things up on a whiteboard and like basically like X minus Y squared, blah, 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 blah. And then they'll go on for all this time. And they'll do that. They'll do this for the like who someone hugs first at the draft. They're using, one of these prize pick type books that has, like how long someone will take to walk up at the draft in the NBA, like type stuff. And they'll put it all up on the whiteboard and, brainstorm it all. And then they follow in the bet and they'll always follow it in costume. And I'll be honest with you guys, this is the best betting content that exists out there today. It's not for your education. It's for your entertainment. And they're just doing such a great job. I just can't wait to look forward to their next Angel Reese post. But anyways, what happened is they were betting on her to miss the first basket. At the time, they had a 70% hit rate. So they're doing quite well with that betting strategy. But Angel Reese and her team sent them a cease and desist and had all their content taken down by Instagram and TikTok. So now what they do is they do the same thing and it'll say just a normal group of guys making a normal bet. And they've got Angel Reese blocked out as she dribbles down the court and she goes to just goes to shoot and everyone knows it's her and everyone knows what the bet is, but they don't tell people what the bet is anymore. So it's her to miss the first shot. And what I find really interesting about it is because the team sent that cease and desist, Angel Reese clearly knows about it and clearly knows her first shot is being bet on heavily right now, not just by these guys, by tons of bettors on whether she makes or misses the first shot.
No pressure.
Well, I did notice she really waited for a couple of layups like right under the hoop and she hit a few in a row and she dropped their hit percentage quite a bit, but she's just bricked a couple threes in a row lately. So I think their hit rate's probably around 65% right now. So it's still really strong. But yeah, just great content. Now, the reason why I bring that up is the WNBA is getting eyeballs.
Oh yeah. Big
right
time.
Now they are kind of making fun of Angel Reese and the WNBA, but at the same time, they are trying to make money betting and they are trying to make good social content about betting. And if you have your head on your shoulders, you just go, well, this is good for the league. Right. And as an athlete, Shane, you kind of know if you miss a shot, you potentially might get made fun of. If you take a game-winning shot and make a mistake when you shouldn't have, you're going to be ripped online. The WNBA hasn't had that exposure where these athletes have been in a position where people even care in the first place. Dude, Sophie Cunningham is like a major celebrity for throwing that chick to the ground and quote defending Caitlin Clark. Like,
yeah, big time.
Actually are following these narratives and storylines.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I haven't bet a lot of WNBA this summer. I have made one bet. I did lose. I lost by the hook on an over. I think I made one bet. But I think I spun 2,500 on the bet, and it wasn't even questioned as to whether that was too big of a wager or not. So that is good news.
Oh yeah,
right?
The market, the liquidity is there. I've seen, I think over 10K on Pinnacle for some of the max limits there in some of these WNBA games. So it's certainly grown from where it was. Big time. Yeah, it's just awesome to see. Awesome to see it grow. It gives us something else in the summer, to really look at. More games, more opportunities. I will say this, though. Betting the WNBA is not easy. The market has become much more efficient, which is why we're able to get those bigger limits out there. It is significantly more efficient. And like a lot of sports, you need to be dialed into it. You got to understand team tendencies. You got to track the data. you know, you gotta do all of the stuff, all of the hard things it takes to be successful betting the WNBA. But man, it's exciting to know that we're going in a direction that just leads to more games and more opportunities.
Totally. Yeah, well said.
Okay. Let's get to the other sort of big story in pace. This one was really kind of like part of the IPL retreat, because it sort of came out as we were all traveling and heading to Vancouver, and it was discussed at the retreat. And it turned out that it wasn't totally true. So a big rumor went around on social media in the lead up to the IPL retreat. And I have to admit, Pace, I kind of just believed it at face value.
I tweeted about it.
Yeah, hook, line, and sinker. Like I was in. I thought it was 100%. But and I think a lot of people who saw it probably did as well. And I'm talking about this FanDuel parlay, 7-leg home run parlay. The odds were something like plus 911,600 to 1, something like that. Monster odds on a 7-leg home run parlay that hit. And so a whole lot of people, this was created and put out by a group. So it was a big group of bettors that all hit this parlay. It was put out there that FanDuel, depending on where you saw it, that FanDuel was voiding it, and they had changed their terms and conditions overnight because of this loss. It was a $2.2 million loss for FanDuel. And so you know, this was all put out there that FanDuel, you know, is scamming everybody. They're not honoring the bets. They've changed their terms and conditions overnight.
Scam Duel.
What's that?
Scam Duel
was trending, yeah, big time. And it turned out that none of that was actually true.
Okay, so what's the truth?
So I'll give you the truth. The update, they did update their terms and conditions. Okay. The update was pre-scheduled. Okay. It just so happened to coincide with this parlay. Now, we're going to get to the terms and conditions, because what was being put out there. Also, I need to mention, no parlay bets were voided. They were paid.
Who said they were voided?
Yeah, it was. I think I don't even know that the original tweets. I went back and looked at some of them. None of the original tweets actually said they were voided, but I think it got then reposted with people saying they were voiding them and all, and it sort of built in. You know, like the social media rumor mill starts, you know, adding to it, right, and layering things on, and so everybody thinks the bets are voided. They were not voided. And let's get to the terms and conditions. Okay, so there were two terms and conditions that were focused on. Okay. And I'll talk about these two. So it was 15.2.5, and I'll just read it out here. We suspect that this is part of the terms and conditions. We suspect that your account's usage could represent business usage. Business usage includes any use by a betting operator or any use by an individual or organization supplying data or services to a betting operator. The next one, 8.13. FanDuel Sportsbook, and this is the one that I think a lot of people zeroed in on. FanDuel Sportsbook reserves the right to avoid any or all bets made by any group of people acting in conjunction with each other or any individual acting alone in an attempt to defraud FanDuel Sportsbook. Okay. Pace, those two terms and conditions have been there all along. They're not new. They're very old. They've been in every state ever since FanDuel entered that state, particular market. They're not new terms and conditions whatsoever. There was a new term and condition, or a new point added, and I'll read that one. This is the actual new piece that's in there. 8.25. We may, in our sole discretion, suspend or terminate your account and or exclude you from the services if we determine that you pose a threat to the safety of participants in a sporting event, or discover that you engaged in the harassment of a sports official, coach, or any participant in a sporting event.
Perfect.
So
great.
That's the term and condition that was new.
Term and condition.
That's the new one. The other ones had always been there. No bets were voided. Now, I'll say this, though. I think what it did was put a spotlight on that very one piece from the terms and conditions that was old, that maybe people hadn't been aware of, because Pace, who reads the terms and conditions, right? I think, you know, you're heavily engaged in this space. I think you probably gloss over terms and conditions every once in a while, on new sports books. They're huge, they're long. People don't read it. I mean, and so it could very easily sort of, be posted and somebody say, this is new. Nobody would know, except the operator itself, because nobody's reading them. But I thought that this one, 8.13, is kind of interesting. FanDuel Sportsbook reserves the right to void any or all bets made by any group of people acting in conjunction with each other, or any individual acting alone in an attempt to defraud FanDuel Sportsbook. Now, I think it's the term defraud.
Yeah, so a group of people acting together to defraud FanDuel Sportsbook.
Yeah, not acting together, right? And I think that's what people thought. Well, we can't bet together. Why do they have a share button? Right? That's what everybody kept saying. Why do they have a share button? So you could share your bet so that other people can bet with you. Well, no, that's not what they're saying. They're not saying that if you act together with other people, to make bets. They're just saying if you work with other people or you do it alone to defraud the sportsbook. And I think, Pace, what they're really getting at there is the stuff like pass posting, court siding, those types of things.
Good news. We can just move on from that. I'm glad you shared it that way. I hope people understand that now. And good example of, like, I guess, fake news, for lack of a better term.
Big time fake news. And, Pace, we will hammer and rag on the sports books at every opportunity we get. And this isn't one. Yeah. This just isn't one. All right, guys. So out there, don't sweat it. Keep making your parlays on FanDuel if that's what you want to do. They're going to pay you out. They won't void it. And if you want to work with a group of people to put them together, by all means, have at it. Don't worry about that.
The best part of that is that everyone got paid their parlays. Everyone said that guy didn't get paid. So
yeah, no. That FanDuel's customer service has put that to rest. They've paid out everything. So there you go. There we go.
Cool.
All right. Moving on. Why don't we get to some football? All right. Bringing in John Wilson here for the Gridiron Grind, Canadian style CFL action. And John, we did pretty good last week overall. A couple of spread calls, a teaser that hit there. Can you give us a quick recap?
Yeah, we had Winnipeg minus 9.5. I think anything you could have gotten in that one up to whatever line. I think saw 10.5 that one.
Yeah.
We also teased them with Saskatchewan, which we ended up losing some value on that Saskatchewan side. I think they closed down towards normal juice on the money line, but still didn't matter. Still won that teaser. So it's really hard right now to make these calls early in the week when we don't know who's playing quarterback for basically any team in the league on a week to week basis. So you kind of just gotta fire from the hip a little bit and just try to do our best. So.
All right. Well, we're back at it again for this upcoming week. We'll start off on Thursday night with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers heading to Calgary to face the Stamps. What do you like there? What's the line right now?
So I see some 3 and I see some 3.5 out there as of Monday morning. So I make this closer toward a touchdown for Winnipeg, actually. Now, again, assuming Kolaros is playing again, assuming Adams is playing again, maybe these are the only two teams without kind of a question mark at quarterback at the moment. But yeah, I make it about 5.5-ish. So I like that -3 flat on Winnipeg. I think Winnipeg and Montreal right now are clearly the two best teams, especially if they've got everybody healthy. So I like that -3 on the road there for Winnipeg.
Okay, -3 Winnipeg. Moving on to Hamilton, we have the Tiger Cats heading half an hour down the Gardiner Expressway to Toronto to face the Argonauts.
Yeah, I think I saw Kelly's not going to be expected back until at least week 7 now, is what I read as of a couple days ago. So looks like Arbuckle again. This line I make pretty much exactly what they've got. I have I have it about 1. They have 1.5 right now for Toronto, favored at home there. So probably going to be a pass for me on this one. Maybe if somehow the Argos became underdogs, and maybe a good, interesting like teaser spot, get them at home like +7.5 or something like that. That would be really interesting. But as of right now, nothing for me on this one.
Okay, nothing there. BC Lions traveling all the way east to Montreal to face the Alouettes.
Yep. So this one is, I think we just have no idea who's playing quarterback in this game. So I'll say if the teams are fully healthy, I think right now. So I'll just say the line is 5.5. I think you can actually get 4.5 out there on Montreal. minus 4.5. Yeah. I would make this over a touchdown, even if Rourke was playing, if Alexander's playing. So like I said, Montreal, I have power rated as a field goal better than Winnipeg right now. So I have them as the best team in the league. That's if it's Alexander, then I'm taking Montreal probably no matter what. I'd bet it up to like minus 9.5, probably. Wow. Okay. If it's Rourke versus, I can't remember who their backup was.
Cloud.
Oh, McLeod. Yes. Then I would probably just pass on this one since it's around a touchdown. But if it got under 3, I think I just have to take Fox McLeod at home, even against Rourke.
So one of the things we've talked about quite a bit in the CFL is the lack of drop off from the 1 to the 2 QB. I actually disagree with that now. I think if McLeod Bethel Thompson is out there, who couldn't score against Hamilton, they've let up so many fucking points. He couldn't score against Hamilton. If he's out there and Rourke is out there, I have to look at BC. But that again, if they're a dog, and this is something that translates really well to live betting, and we did excellent in the with who was it this past week that we did really well with that was an underdog, the Argos, from a side standpoint. They were underdogs heading into the game. Early on, you can see quickly how well the team is performing. So if BC's an underdog going in against McLeod Bethel Thompson, if it's Nathan Rourke and they're playing well, you'll get great live value on the lines in the first half and throughout the game. So that'll be something that I'm definitely going to have my eye on. But if it's Alexander, I'm going to be all over Montreal pregame.
All right, so that one really dependent on who we get at starting quarterback. We'll have to sort of keep our eyes out to see any updates there. That game's being played on Saturday. All right. Final game of the week being played on Sunday. Ottawa Red Blacks going to Edmonton to face the Elks.
Yep. So we've got Ottawa minus 2.5. I'm seeing out there. That's pretty close. I've got it about 1.5, 2. So I don't know if Drew Brown's going to be back. I don't know. I think this one's just going to be a stay away for me, especially being a week out. Just too much uncertainty in the line is just kind of exactly where I've got it. So might be a thin card for me this week on the CFL.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with that, especially when we have so little information about such a key position in so many of these games. It's best to wait. That's why we bet it live.
But also, it's a good plug, too. Like, we are going to get that information towards the game and see the lines. And if we like anything, we make the call to our community. So you can always just be a part of inplayLIVE to get the calls that we make.
There you go. So stay tuned for those developments through the week. And remember, place those bets on Pinnacle. $10. That's all you got to do. A $10 wager enters you into the Pinnacle contest to get $1,000 USD put into your account. This is the last week for quarter 2. So make sure you get it in, and we'll be giving away $1,000 USD, putting it in someone's Pinnacle account next week, hopefully. And shout out again to Nick. Congrats, buddy, on getting that first $1,000 USD. All right, guys. I think that just about wraps it up for this week. Look forward to chatting with you guys again next week. And until then, to everybody out there, keep beating those books.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Lines. Remember to like, download, and subscribe. We are on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcasts. Have a betting story or want to be featured on our podcast? Drop a note in the comments below. And if you want to join in Play Live, use promo code Behind the Lines.